State your name for the record.
Okay, my name is Faith Bussey. I'm from Arlington, Texas, in Tarrant County. I'm here on behalf of myself and not anybody else. We've been asking today, how do we best protect children? And I've heard it said here that the best way to do that is to lower the caseload for caseworkers, and the best way to do that is to give caseworkers more money. The premise here is that for every single case a caseworker receives, there is a valid threat to the child. I reject that premise. I am a mom of 3. I'm also a Republican precinct chair in Tarrant County and an activist, but mom is my most important job. But since I take all my jobs seriously, I'm among a handful of people that other moms and dads call when CPS descends on their life. My personal experience with families has varied with each case, but there are common denominators. First, the parents love their children. Second, the children are not being abused. Third, the person who called CPS was a disgruntled busybody, I'll call them, an ex-wife, an ex-husband, an angry neighbor, a self-righteous jerk at the park, an anonymous phone call. And the fourth is that the parents are terrified because they realize they are completely at the mercy of their caseworker. So they call me and I try to help. The caseworkers have also varied with each case. Sometimes they are kind and understanding. Sometimes they could not care less. Sometimes they power trip. Sometimes they take children away from their families because of a messy house, because they don't have children, and they don't realize that when you have children, your house gets messy. True story.
Yes.
So, when these parents call me, I encourage them to record all interactions, because the worst case scenario for any loving parent is a he said, she said scenario with a bad caseworker going before a judge. I'm not a legal expert. I don't have all the answers, but I fundamentally reject the notion that every case thrown in a caseworker's lap is valid. I also reject the notion that throwing more money at a government agency will magically fix it. If I were to offer a solution, it would have to start with accountability. Fire the bad workers, fire the bad supervisors, increase accountability for the higher-ups and fire them if you need to, err on the side of parental rights, and allow some common sense to enter the conversation of which threats are investigated and which ones are tossed. You would lower the caseload overnight if you did that, and you would cut the budget. And that is specifically under the purview of this legislative body. So what are you waiting for?
So, you know, it's Commissioner, I don't know if someone on your staff can answer this. If they can't, then maybe you can get back with us. But it'd be interesting to know how many calls they get that where they don't proceed, where they, I mean, we got some testimony saying that they didn't respond at all, right? But it would be interesting to see how many calls they get, complaints, or reporting someone, and they look at it and then just decide there's nothing going on here.
I would like to know that too.
Because I can assure you that there got to be a certain number, and I don't know if that's something you all have.
We have those analytics, yes, we do.
Okay, so then is that something you can answer in a minute?
Yes.
Okay, we'll get him to answer that just for all our information.
Okay.
But it's again, it's this agency is so important in that there are kids that are being abused. There are kids that are being hurt. I promise you, I work very closely with the Children's Advocacy Center in Laredo, and I know that that happens. We know that it happens. So when they get a call, I mean, you want them to check it out. What you want is for it to be set up in a way where you're treated fairly, and that you're not automatically, assumed to be guilty or to have done something wrong.
If the call is, for example, a friend of mine whose angry neighbor called, her kids were outside playing barefoot in the front yard.
Yeah.
And that was why she called, because the kids were barefoot playing in the front yard.
Well, that's probably not, well, I'm guessing that nothing happened to your neighbor.
No, but she had to go through the whole process.
Well, and so, I don't know if we can do something about the neighbor that called in looking at kids being barefoot. I don't know.
Something.
All right.
Thank you.